I'd like to call the January 29th, 2015 regular meeting of the Coffee County Board of Education to order. Please stand while Cadets Lieutenant Commander Noah Wolford and Lieutenant Dontavia Shepherd please lead the Pledge of Allegiance.
And salute. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order. Arms. Right. Face. Forward. March.
Please be seated. I'd like to invite Chris Calhoun to come up and do our invocation, please.
Let's pray together. Father God, we thank you for today, and we just thank you for the blessings of life. We thank you that we can live in this country and enjoy its freedoms, and remind us that these freedoms do not come cheaply. It was a great sacrifice, Father, and because of that sacrifice, our young people are able to receive a quality education in this country. Father, that education does not come without the hard work and dedication of the board members, the faculty and staff, administration, and all the employees that ensure that our school systems are run efficiently and safely. Father, we ask that you bless them with your wisdom and discernment, that they make the right decisions for our young people in this community, Father. We love you. We know you love us because you sent your son for us, Father. In his name I pray. Amen.
All right. On the adoption of the agenda, I think we were going to amend the agenda to include the supplement for new teachers. Do I need a motion for amendment?
So moved.
All those in favor?
Discussion.
Discussion, sorry.
I'd like to understand, I appreciate the motion for the change of the agenda, but I would like to understand the meeting that took place prior to changing the set agenda without it being a recommendation from the superintendent seat.
It was a recommendation. Was that, did I not understand that you recommended?
Yes, I don't oppose it at all. I'm recommending that it be added to the agenda.
Okay.
Any other discussion?
Just that I would like to, be at every meeting, and have never been opposed to sitting down and discussing budget items, working through those together, okay, and coming up with a good solution. Never been opposed to that. So I'm surprised that we're going back retroactively to an item that can simply be discussed as we form the next budget, and bring all the parties to the table to discuss it. And I just like that opportunity. So that's all I have.
Ms. Shaw?
I'm good.
Did we get that information, Dr. Lewis, Ms. Clayton?
Yes.
Okay, let's see it. Please, ma'am.
Let's move forward with the meeting. We'll place this
Yeah,
down the
okay.
agenda. We'll place it on the agenda down after the policy, number 9. We'll move it down as number 9, and then we'll have the executive session as number 10.
It'll be added before the consent agenda?
I was thinking after the
After the consent agenda.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Lewis, in my opinion, we asked for that information at 5:37.
Yes, sir.
I just like to know how many people would it affect. Shouldn't have to wait.
Mr. Johnson, I don't think they asked you, they just wanted to wait until we get into it on the agenda.
Yeah, we've not even.
We're just voting to put it on the agenda.
You will amend it, right?
We're amending the agenda to discuss it later.
Talking about that issue.
We'll discuss it before the executive session.
Number 9 tonight.
Yeah.
So you
You
make
can do it tonight.
get to it now.
Well, I wanted to touch on the mission and vision and our recognition of our students who are here and our families who are here, and we've got a crowd here waiting for this recognition.
They need to see how the government work.
Yes, sir.
They need to see that. I don't want them to go home and don't know how it works.
Well,
That's my point. Because I don't have nothing to hide. I want everybody to know what I know. The whole time. See, they might get more people to come and see what we're doing. We do it above board. If we're going to amend something, we're going to discuss it. I ain't going to discuss it way down the line.
Madam Chair, since we are already been in discussion, can we just go ahead and add it in now, or release it, get it out of the way?
I
don't think it's gonna be that much more discussion to it.
Recognition.
How about if we put it after the purpose and direction or government?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll do it before number 6. You'll go through the purpose and direction. Okay.
Can this, Madam Chair, if we, I think what Dr. Lee was asking is if we could get through the recognition for the special guests that are here, our students, and maybe put it down between 6 and 7.
Okay.
Or 7 and 8. But I'm not going to oppose putting it on the agenda. I'll vote to put it on the agenda, that's not a problem.
Yeah, we just got some things to celebrate before we get to business.
That's all right. I'll go for that.
Okay, so this will, the amended agenda will include the supplement for new teachers to be discussed on after the governance and leadership. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am. All right, well, great. At this time, we've got our visitors here. Welcome. Appreciate y'all being here, and we'll start with our mission, which is destination graduation for college, career, and life, and our vision, which is an equitable and excellent education for every student. So we're here tonight to recognize some excellence in our school system, and I'd like to say welcome. And our first special recognition is our AP Honor Roll. We've got our principal from Coffee High School here, Dr. Roland Cummins, as well as some of his staff and students to talk about the AP Honor Roll. Ms. Clayton, did you want to start that off?
Yes, sir, thank you. Dr. Lees and board members, I'm excited to be able to introduce Dr. Roland Cummings, our principal from Coffee High School, because I know he's a very proud principal, because we were notified the first part of December that our high school was one of 18 school districts in Georgia and one of 547 in the U.S. and Canada that were placed on the College Board 5th Annual AP District Honor Roll for increasing their access to AP coursework and those students who increased with 3 or higher on the AP exams. So Dr. Cummings, I'm proudly turn it over to you.
Thank you, Ms. Clayton. Good evening, everyone, Dr. Lees and the board members. As Ms. Clayton just said, we're very proud and excited about receiving this recognition because it's something that only a few systems around the nation and in Canada have received. Out of the 181 school districts in Georgia, as you can see from the graphic, well, we get a little bit later, but at 500 school districts in the United States, you know, we're one of the few to receive this. And again, this is not only increasing the number of students taking advanced placement classes, it also talks about increasing those who are getting a 3 or higher. And of course, if you get a 3 or higher on the AP exam, which is administered at the end of the school year, you receive college credit. You know, and that is across the country. The College Board sets a curriculum for AP classes, and it's a curriculum that is consistent across the nation. So it's a very prestigious honor. Also, of the 181 school districts in the state of Georgia, only 18 school districts are recognized with that AP District Honor Roll honor. And if you can look again, looking at the graphic and seeing the school systems around the state of Georgia that's listed there, Coffee County for 2014 ranks right up there with the best school systems in the state of Georgia in terms of our AP recognition and the hard work of our students, teachers, and the support of their parents and the community. We're just giving a few seconds just to kind of look at that and see where we rank in terms of AP recognition.
Well, I'd like to say I'm glad they caught up with us.
Awesome. Here's some trend data over a period of years, and you can see that the number of students has steadily increased over the years at Coffee High School, as well as those students scoring 3 or higher on those AP exams. And it is a process you go through, and there will be some peaks and some valleys, but it's certainly trended in a positive direction since I would say, in the last 3 years. And this recognition comes from over a 3-year period. So even though it's recognized in 2014, the College Board recognizes the gains over a longer period of time. And now you can see the scores, when you really get on the raw scores, you can see this is something I'm extremely proud of in terms of the individual courses where we rank with the state of Georgia and with the rest of the United States. And we compare very, very favorably in most content areas in terms of not only the state of Georgia, but also you can see where we compare to the rest of the nation in regards to the 2014 Advanced Placement Test scores. And particularly if you look at AP Calculus, where we are in our score and where we rank above the state and we rank above the country. Also, you look at the biology score, we rank above the state and the rest of the country. And obviously, we got some work to do in a couple of areas. But overall, you know, our students in that did a great job, as well as the teachers.
Dr. Cummins, I do have to comment on that. In AP US History, we had 65% pass rate, and Georgia had 51% pass rate, and the United States had 52.2% pass rate. So you well exceeded your students, your teachers, the state and national average. That's impressive. In AP Economics, 56 for the nation, 57 in the state, and we're at 64.
64, yes, sir.
And in AP Biology, the nation was at 63, the state was at 61, and Coffee High School was at 70.
Yes, sir.
That's impressive. And I could go on with the other classes. I think we need to give these students and teachers a round of applause.
Thank you, Dr. Lee. And again, that's a lot of hard work. And this just doesn't start with us at Coffee High School. Again, you know, when we talk about our education, it's a K through 12 process. And we're kind of in it, you know, near the end or at the end of the educational change in terms of secondary education. So everybody plays a part. From the time they first step foot in a school anywhere in our county, everybody plays a role in the success of our young people. As you can see also in terms of our AP scholars, you know, the board kind of divides it up into different categories. And you can see those that scored 3 or higher with 3 or more AP exams. Again, on the 2024, we had 10 students, and this is kind of like the top of the top. And then the AP scholars with honors, average score of at least 3.25 on all exams, and score of 3 or higher on 4 or more AP exams. We had 4 students. And APs with distinction that comes from the same family, and you'll hear from one of those in a few minutes, at least 3.5 on all exams, and scores of 3 or higher on 5 or more AP exams. So we're extremely proud of our students because it's a tremendous accomplishment. And what this indicates is our students, our AP students, rank at or above the rest of the students in the entire country and in Canada. So we're extremely proud of that. Also, we got some students here. We got Ms. Rhonda Dorsey, assistant principal. Ms. Dorsey, where's Ms. Dorsey? Right there. She also works with our AP program. And we got 2 students, Ms. Chandler Hurst and Mr. Jason Vickers. And at this time, if they would come forward, appreciate, I'm sure that you kind of share a little bit about your experience with in our AP program.
Hello, everyone. My experience with AP has been great. I feel like taking APs at Coffee High School has really helped prepare me for college. And it's something, you know, APs, they're hard. I've taken 10, well, this semester I'm taking 4 APs, which will take me to 10 APs altogether. And it's rough. It's a lot of extra work, extra studying, and projects and stuff, but I would definitely say it's worth it, and I'm really proud of our school for where we've come with our APs, and I can't wait to see where else we go with them.
Hey, I've taken 5 APs so far, and I'm taking the board this semester as well, so I'll have 9 when I graduate. I've taken AP college classes and online classes, and I would say that AP is one of the best ways to help prepare for college. The rigor and the teaching is beyond what I've experienced, and that's the best thing I've experienced in my high school career. And I'm very proud of the students and the teachers as well for getting us to where we are.
Mr. Vickers and Ms. Hurst, would you mind sharing? I'm curious about your future plans, what you guys intend to do in the future. I don't want to put you on the spot, but
Well, right now I'm planning on going to Georgia Tech next year. I'm planning on going to Georgia Tech and majoring in business, but it's not a solid plan yet, so we'll see.
I've also been accepted at Georgia Tech, and that's probably the #1 school on my list, and I'll pursue a degree in engineering.
thank you all. I'm so proud of you. Come on. This time, we do want to present Dr. Cummings and his staff and
Oh,
students.
y'all come with the picture.
Y'all come on out here.
Oh, Ms. Dorsey, let somebody else take that picture.
With the AP honor roll, the 5th annual AP honor roll is expecting excellence in education. Great job.
Thank you, Dr. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Great job. Great job. Mr. Wilson. You keep that. At this time, we have our REACH scholars here with us tonight. We've got Mr. Horner, assistant principal at Coffee Middle School, here to present our REACH scholars.
County Middle School was lucky enough to have a handful of students that earned this, the REACH scholarship, which is a program where they actually get a scholarship guaranteed to them by the state of Georgia now that they have to perform a certain amount of steps through high school, and then they'll receive that money for, I believe it is 4 years all through college. And so we're very proud of these students. So we've got 2 other students at County Middle School that weren't able to be with us tonight. And Sandra Dill, the First Lady of the State of Georgia, actually came to Coffee Middle School in November, October-ish, and she presented the award to the students there. So we had a grand ceremony, and we were really proud of all these kids. So thank y'all for being here, and I'll let y'all introduce yourself if you'd like to. Just say your name and tell them.
I'm not in Swanson, I'm in 8th grade.
Thank you.
I'm Tiffany Spice.
My name is Jamari Anderson, and I'm in 8th grade.
Thank y'all for what you're doing. We know that you are working hard in school, and that this opportunity is an opportunity for a $10,000 scholarship to go to the college of your choice in the state of Georgia. And so we're so excited for you with this opportunity. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to think about what college you might go to. I don't think I'll put you on the spot and ask you. Share with us again. Tell us your name and what college you want to go to.
My name is Jamar Anderson, and I want to go to Clayton University College.
Great.
My name is Nadia Swanson, and I would like to go to Armstrong State University.
My name is Tiffany Spice, and I'd like to go to Valdosta.
Right. All right. Well, fantastic. Well, you guys keep working hard, and y'all know the requirements for the REACH scholarship. You've been well versed on the requirements for the REACH scholarship, and we're just so excited for you and the future that you'll have. So thank y'all for being here tonight.
Good job.
I did want to add too, we have Tanya Johnson with us tonight and Stephanie Gooden, who have been kind of the coordinators of the REACH program. And if they wanted to come forward, I think Tanya had some information she wanted to
Right.
share that she
All
put
right.
together.
Come forward, please, Ms. Johnson and Dr. Johnson, and share with us the details that you have.
She's been working very hard with these students and with the mentors that are working with them.
Well, I put together a little presentation just to give you a little information about the REACH Scholarship Program. REACH stands for Realizing Educational Achievement Can Happen. REACH was established or launched in February of 2012 by Governor Nathan Deal. He started with piloting 3 schools, which was Douglas County, Rabun County, and also Dodge County school systems. And as you know, it is a needs-based scholarship program and mentorship program, which pairs current 8th graders with an academic coach along with a mentor throughout their high school graduation. The mission of the REACH Scholarship Program is to provide Georgia's academically promising middle school students with academic, social, and financial support needed to graduate from high school, access college, and achieve post-secondary success. Some of the program goals and outcomes for the REACH program: we would like to encourage academic achievement. We monitor their attendance, as already been mentioned, monitor their behavior, and of course we want to encourage positive attitudes toward their grades, build confidence among our students, encourage our students to be more engaged in their academics and talking with their teachers and being concerned about their grades. With the program, it gives the students an opportunity to become leaders within their school and within their community. In the future, we would like for them to participate more so in our community in engaging in community service activities, and we want to let them know that we want them to strive to participate in more rigorous coursework. Part of the expectations and the commitment they have made when they signed on the signing ceremony back in September, they must maintain a C average, maintain good attendance, their behavior must be up to par. They have to meet with a mentor and their academic coach, which is Ms. Gooden in the back there, on a monthly basis. And we haven't quite got our mentor program started yet, but we're hoping to have those in place by next week. They must remain crime and drug free, graduate from high school ready for college, and attend all of the REACH activities and events that have been set forth for them, and completing student surveys. And as Dr. Lees mentioned, these students will be eligible to receive a $10,000 scholarship once they graduate from high school, as long as they're wanting to participate in a Hope-eligible Georgia college. And many of those colleges are the University of Georgia, Armstrong State University, Valdosta State, and our own local South Georgia State College.
Georgia Southern.
Georgia Southern. But there are a lot of colleges within the state of Georgia that have agreed to match, and in some instances double match or triple match their scholarship. So that's an exciting opportunity for our students. And as we've already mentioned, our REACH scholars are Jamari Anderson, Asia Davis, who is not with us tonight, Tamaya Pope, Tiffany Spruce, who's with us tonight. She's kind of shy. Nadia Swanson, here with us tonight too. And Miss Stephanie Gooden, who is our 8th grade counselor and academic coach. Would you like to come forward? This is a picture of our REACH scholars that on the signing day, when First Lady Sandra Deal was in attendance along with our sponsors. And we'd like to thank our sponsors, which include Colony Bank, Douglas Area Employees Committee, Douglas Rotary Club, Fair Hennessy and Tanner, and Fender Guidance Orthodontics.
I would like to point out that each one of these groups gave $1,500 to sponsor a REACH scholarship. So each year we'll need 5 $1,500 donors. So those of you who own businesses, or those of you who are involved with civic organizations, or any organization that can contribute to a REACH scholarship, you'll be paid for essentially a child to have a $10,000 scholarship to go to college. So this is making dreams come true, and we appreciate your efforts, Ms. Johnson. I know y'all went to Atlanta last week, visited the Capitol, am I correct?
We did.
Well, that's fantastic.
And I think some of them were going to make a comment about our visit to the Capitol. I'll see if they'll still do that once we finish up here. Also, after you've mentioned about the contribution, along with that, we will need mentors each year for upcoming scholars. So if you all know of anyone that would be a good, excellent mentor to mentor scholars, please contact me in regards to that. And without our students, without our parents, we wouldn't be able to have our students. So we'd like to thank our parents and all of their hard work in working with their students and everything that they're going to contribute to this program. Student activities that they've already participated in include the statewide signing day with First Lady Deal. And back in November, they had an opportunity to be a part of an interview with Ms. Kim Clayton. They did a wonderful job. That was aired during the halftime report during the state playoffs. They did an excellent job with that interview. We're proud of them. And as we've mentioned, they participated in attending the College Yes You Can Day at the state capitol. They had to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, you all, to be ready to travel for that event.
And thank you for going with them.
Also happened that I didn't have to drive for that. I've included here some quotes that Ms. Berry and Ms. Hodge and Dr. Lease have given, and I think it is fitting that Ms. Berry has indicated that we anticipate bright futures for students with our schools, families, higher learning institutions, and local community businesses working towards a common goal. It takes everyone to be a part of this program to make it a success. And Ms. Hodge, these relationships coupled with financial support, students that have likely never dreamed of attending college now have the tools to change their life and the lives of generations to come. Many students that are part of the REACH program are oftentimes first generation students to be able to attend college, and I think in some instances that is the case with our students. So we're happy to be able to make their dreams come true. And Dr. Lease, we believe that this program will provide these students a greater opportunity to successfully reach our mission, destination graduation for college, career, and life. This is a picture of them at the Capitol. As part of their visit, they did get to go around to visit some of the tables. It was part of the college career fair. And they had an opportunity to listen to a motivational speaker, Candace Simmons, and we do hope to be able to get him to come and speak to some of our other students here in Coffee County if possible. Those are our REACH scholars, and I think, would you all like to have something to say about the Capitol visit? at this point?
My favorite thing, well, thanks for everybody who helped me get this scholarship. For the first thing I want to say. And thanks for letting us come is another thing I wanted to say. And the main reason I liked it was my first time ever going into the Capitol. And the motivational speaker, County Simmons, the words that I got from what he was telling us were, just because you ain't perfect doesn't mean you can't accomplish it. That's all I would like to say. Thank you.
I would like to give thanks to Dr. Johnson and Ms. Gooding for their support. And my favorite thing was meeting Canty Simmons because he was very inspirational. And it was also my first time going to the Capitol building.
I would like to give thanks to Dr. Lisa, Miss Hodges, and I like to go to Atlanta for the because it was like my first time going, and I like to go around get to know the colleges better.
I forgot one special person, and that's Miss Betty. And I would like to thank her for helping us too. And I liked it the way she helped pay for our food.
Okay. And thank you, Dr. Lees, for bringing this to Coffee County and allowing this to take place in Coffee County. And I'd also like to thank my director, Dr. Dana Vickers, for allowing me to be able to be a part of this program.
Thank you for what you've done. You've done a lion's share of work on this project, and thank you. And Ms. Collins, too.
Question. Ms. Johnson, can you elaborate on how we go about picking those students?
As it's indicated, it is a needs-based scholarship. So there are certain criteria within that part of it. And then it's also based on their academic grades, their attendance, and their behavior.
Is it a committee or just what you just said?
There was initially there was a committee of personnel from the school, along with some county office personnel that participated as part of the narrowing down of the selection. And then outside of the school employees, we had community members that were part of the sponsors that participated in narrowing the selection down.
Thank you.
I wanted to get a picture of them right here, if y'all don't mind.
That's good.
She got to get up now. Most of them.
We're gonna get this picture.
Judy, you want to get in the chair? One, two,
At this time, I'd like to call up Miss Allison Spade, our principal at Broxton Elementary School. We have received a rebate check from Georgia Power. And Miss Spade, here's your check. Hold up the check there, and it's $9,178.45 that goes to Washington Elementary School. And this comes from Georgia Power, a rebate from Georgia Power for the energy efficiency components of the new Washington Elementary School, the LED lighting and the various energy conscious, the roof, the Gavaloon roof that reflects the light off of it. So Georgia Power has sent Roxton Elementary School a big check. So thank you. Thank The teaching and assessing portion of our meeting.
I think we were going to put that, right after this.
Next item on the agenda is the teacher supplement. And there was conversation in our last work session, the meeting before this, and we talked about the teacher supplements for beginning teachers, teachers in their first, second, and third year. That back last spring, as we were preparing for the budget coming into this year and into the summer, we were still looking for ways to reduce the budget and to prepare for further cuts, quite honestly. We felt like we had to be prepared for additional cuts and the possibility of finding more areas to reduce the budget. And so as part of that initiative, I did recommend to the board at that time that we withdraw supplements for new teachers until they received their third contract, I think it was. And after hearing the board's discussion, I'm not opposed to withdrawing that recommendation and consider reinstating the supplement for first and second year teachers. I'm certainly open to whatever the board desires, but that was the conversation that led to this agenda item.
Ms. Clayton, you have that information?
I do. This year we have 61 new teachers. 35 were first-year teachers, 26 were veteran teachers. And the way it was set up, from my understanding, was anyone that was hired July 1 or after did not get the supplement. So there were 9 people that didn't get it. And 2 of those were veteran teachers that came to us. So obviously their supplement's going to be more than a beginning teacher.
So there's actually only 7 that did not receive.
Nine.
But then I thought you said they were veteran teachers.
Yes, but they were new hire star system.
Oh, I see.
They
Okay,
didn't get
gotcha.
it, so their supplement's higher,
Right.
where they fell on the pay scale.
Okay, so that's 9,000.
But had we have had this in place earlier, it would have been 60-something.
Yes, 61.
So we put this in place after we pretty much hired everybody.
And that was the rationale with it. If we save 30 a year for 3 years, that's 90 grand that we ultimately saved, and that was the intention.
But we didn't
But
have the money.
also one of the discussion, my discussion at that time, if I can, Madam Chair, is it wasn't a savings so much as it was a realignment of priorities of what can we do with this money to the benefit of our employees that we have now.
Which we've done nothing. We've done nothing to realign. So
We haven't
the
had the
savings didn't go anywhere with the
We haven't had the
realignment.
opportunity to,
No, we could have after that.
but the mechanism didn't go in place and it only affected 9 new hires, 7 new hires? Sorry. 9 new hires. But it wasn't taking money away from anyone, okay? Because it wasn't money that they had to earn. It wasn't being retroactive, it wasn't being punitive, okay? It wasn't it's an effort to look at what makes financial sense for people. We also talked about actually looking at the formula of that supplemental schedule with the next budget as to what's right. I mean, the idea that we have higher turnover with new hires certainly doesn't support the fact that they get supplements, because they've been getting supplements, and we have higher turnover with new hires. So that argument doesn't really hold.
Mr. Johnson?
Thank you, ma'am. As you noted, Dr. Lees, when you read a mission statement, we can go out on the street and get somebody to come teach these classes now. True or false?
Well, we still expect them to be certified.
Okay, just in case they're not. If you're talking about going to get somebody like off chemical to teach a science lab, they have more experience than we wait on a person to get that degree. True or false?
I can see your point, yes, sir.
Okay. Where I'm going, last year we didn't have the money to do this. And Mr. Drago's at the work session is piling up. So I think now is the time, excuse me, to look out for our beginners teachers. Because as you know, people's not going into education no more. They're going into everything but education. You can't hardly get, how many you say we had?
Total,
Yes, ma'am.
61.
61. You say 9 beginners teachers.
No, sir. 35 were brand new teachers and 26 were veteran teachers that came to us. But 9 of those came after the deadline. They were hired after July 1, so they didn't get the local supplement.
So what I'm trying to get to, I think it's time to do 2 things. Look out for the beginners, look after those teachers and revisit that pay scale that the teachers go by. It's time to do that, because it's been over 10 years since we did that. Am I right, Kim?
Yes, sir. The local supplements.
Right. So if we can do those 2 things, because you want the morale of the teachers up here, not
Yes,
down
sir.
here. Once you take care of your teachers and your workers, they'll take care of you.
Yes, sir.
So let's not fool ourselves. This time, changes ought to be made in everything we do. If we see what we couldn't do, if you come back in 5 months and say, that ain't a good thing for us, that's why you make the big bucks, to tell us where we need to go. If we agree with you, we agree with you. We don't, we don't. And that's all I got to say, because I'm ready to vote.
I'm not going to beat a dead horse. I think everybody knows how they want to vote at this point. But I mean, like I say, my only objection was just I didn't see any reason why we couldn't have a year that we hire somebody, see how they pan out. The next year they start getting supplement. You know, I'm not trying to take it away from them for the whole time or anything like that, but I didn't think 1 year on a new hire to see how they turn out in our school system, you know, I thought that was a good idea.
And I understand what you're saying, Ms. Lott, but as Ms. Clayton has told us that she's hearing from the colleges of education that people aren't going into education. Our pool of applicants is going to is decreasing.
And I understand
We've
that.
got to
I
have
do.
something.
But I don't think today we've got, I mean, like I say, we've got, you know, our furlough days are back, other communities are. I think we've got a lot of other things right now that draw people to us as compared to a community around us. 5 years down the line, that may be true. We may have to go back and say, okay, you know what, we got to do something different. But right now, I just don't see that being the case. But like let me say this, and I'm not going to argue the point of whether someone should be encouraged to come to work for us or not financially. What I'm discouraged about is the manner in which this was done this evening. And discordance on this board is going to drive people away as well. So there was plenty of time to put this on the agenda, ask the other board members for input on it, and let us be prepared for the meeting. So I'm not opposed to going back and examining the issue as a budget item, okay, just exactly as we did before. Have the discussion about the pros and cons and what ultimately benefits the people that work for us now. I'm not talking about the people that may work for us in the future. I'm talking about the people that go and struggle in our schools every day. That was my position then. It was not to take away money from people. It was to, what can we do with these funds to allocate them in areas that we need to support our classroom teachers and for the things that they do every day that they don't get necessarily compensated for. Our hands are tied on.
I'm not opposed to adjusting the schedule as it sits. I'm not opposed to looking at maybe a $500 for a first-year teacher. You know, something that steps it a little differently. I'm not opposed to looking at that. But we haven't had time to prepare a discussion at all. And that's what's not fair about voting on it.
Well, I'm sorry you feel that way, Mr. President, because the thing that brought it up was because when we were discussing the financial report, it was, you know, it's obvious that there's, I mean, we don't have an overabundance of money, but when we're talking about monies that could possibly be used as a supplement for our first-year teachers, there is money there. As far as whether we've looked at or going to do something with other supplements, I'm going on my 3rd year on the board, and we've done absolutely nothing other than remove the first the $1,000 supplement from the teachers. Now, when we're ready to sit down and readjust all supplements, that's when we need to make those kind of decisions. But until that point, these teachers need to get those supplements back, and then let's take a look at all of the supplements. That's what I'm saying. It wasn't a surprise attack. It was just, it came up, there's monies available, and is that an option? It's just that simple. Because we've discussed all of this stuff before.
I understand that, but it wasn't. It was not on the agenda item, and it became an agenda item very, very quickly, which was the surprise. So that being said, I've got no problem with.
Mr. Johnson.
Ms. Worrell, I see where this is going. I don't want to go back to some things that got us in trouble the first time. So I think we're not in a rush. I think we can take a little time and then everybody calm down. Let Dr. Lee's get the numbers where we at. At some point, we're going to vote on it. But I don't want to be said that we come in with a sneak attack and did this. So to be above board, help me out to say what I'm trying to say.
You want it on an agenda where it would be posted, where anybody in the public that might want to come speak at it can. And it's not Ms. Worrell said, surprise attack.
Right.
It could be wait for it a month, but that's the board's call. It's on that.
I want you to help me.
Well, I'm just saying there's it's not an emergency item.
Okay.
It's not, so.
Are we legal?
It's not, you're legal. It's a board call, yes, sir. Mr. Jarvis, no question. If 3 people want to undo what was done last year, they can do it.
I'm talking about, are we legal putting it on the amended agenda?
Yes, sir.
And that's something that normally happens.
Yes, sir.
But that thing worked forward, in my opinion.
This is a result of what we discussed at a work session. Is that not right, Mr. Cunningham?
Yeah, but what it was your word, Ms. Worrell, and then Mr. Johnson doesn't. One time, I know Mr. Giles recalls it, a couple items were brought up that nobody knew anything about it. 3 board members knew about it, the others didn't. It looked like an ambush.
Yeah.
And so from the public's end, it had to be perceived as an ambush. And all Mr. Johnson is saying, he wants to vote and revisit what you did last year, but he wants the time to, when the board has had time to talk about it among themselves and consider it, and you're advocating, I assume, waiting a month. Whatever your study is through.
Not over, man.
That's fine.
All I'm saying, I don't want sites to come back in and say, y'all didn't do things right.
That's fine.
Let me ask if we can.
Too many children in
That's fine.
I would like to amend, I can't amend a motion that's sitting, but one of the things that I am willing to discuss as part of the discussion tonight, okay, to move this thing forward, all right, and not feel the way I feel about this situation is, we're talking about 9 people, is that right? I would have to ask Dr. Lees if this is possible.
9 people, yeah.
But if that could be done retroactively for this year and then going into the budget year, Ms. Worrell, that we take a look at that schedule again.
That's fine, and I wasn't thinking retroactively, actually, but I was.
But if that will make everyone
But
feel.
that's why we'll put it on next month's agenda.
Well, what I'm saying is, I'm ready to do that now.
Now, let's wait, because Mr. President, I don't want a hard feeling, because we worked 4 years good together, and we got a month. not overnight. Let Dr. Lees and his staff to get together and come back to us. That way you won't have no hard feelings.
I don't
I won't.
Mr. President, are you okay? I mean, you're okay with the vote?
Yeah.
I mean.
Well, I'm actually, I wanted, what I was saying about amending the agenda is, you know, as a show of my determination to do better for the people who work in our school system. Okay? That was my point on adjusting the supplement.
Right, and that's what
Okay,
we need
was
to work towards.
Slide them one way.
I agree. I agree.
But if we're talking about 9 people that we need to go back and recapture, because we did this in the fall, we did this in the summer.
That's right.
We got a lot of people hired so they could get under that wire. Remember that? We had that call meeting and we did the executive session.
Yes.
We got those people under contract before July 1.
Well, we're talking about a
Let's table
small
this
number.
item to next month to give you more time to get back with us.
Oh, and that's fine with me. I want to say one more thing though, and that's kind of goes with what we're talking about. What you're talking about now, we've got some money. We're still, I mean, from the figures he showed us, we still have expenditures of almost $2 million a year more than what we're bringing in this year. So I understand things are looking better, but I'm a nervous type, but I like to make sure it's there before I go to doing that kind of thing.
I
And
understand
I understand, you know, we've got a lot of stuff coming to the governor's office. Yeah, we're going to give you some more money, but until I start seeing that stuff, I just have a hard time, you know, spending it.
Could I, Ms. Payne, would you just give us that check back?
Yes, Mr. Cunningham.
Just as you're considering it, and what the chairman was saying, it seems to me, you bring it up, you did not intend for it to be an ambush. You saw their funds were there. It's not the only group you've gone after with the new hires and hadn't revisited any other stuff. As y'all are discussing it and over the next month and considering it and thinking about it, there might be some legal issues on making something retroactive. So I just.
Yeah.
We gonna table this and
Yes.
we
That's
can
right.
go on down the
We'll
road.
put it on next month.
All right.
So I'll go ahead and say that.
Need a motion to withdraw?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, it's tabled, it's tabled.
It's tabled, yeah.
Because it was there for us to talk about.
All right, on the teaching and assessing, we've got principals here for a presentation, and we'd like to welcome Miss Lori Bratcher here from Nichols Elementary School and Miss Kim Miller here from West Green Elementary School.
Good evening. How are y'all? I'd just like to say that whatever Allison has on the top of her roof, I want some of that on my roof.
We'll put it on the gym.
Yes, I was just thinking that. Could we do it on our new gym?
Maybe we get back, can we, get
Oh, yeah.
All right, I can wait.
We're here tonight to present our annual report, and Lori and I are going to present together, and we have combined our PowerPoint to make it as smooth as possible, to share some very important information with you. The first slide, I guess I have to click, is our student staff profile.
Our enrollment is actually a little down this year. Last year, this time when I presented to you, I think we were at 391, and we're down 339. I'm not really sure what the reason is for that, but we have been a little low this whole year. We expect it to go up. We're at 67% Caucasian, 22% African American, 9% Hispanic, and then we have 1% multiracial and Asian. And then you can see we are down a staff member. We have 46 staff, 28 certified, and 18 classified.
And at West Green, our enrollment is at 378. When I took this data as of in the morning, it'll be 4 students higher. We're at 57% Caucasian, which is about what we've been for the time that I've been at West Green. 11% African American, 29% Hispanic, 2% multiracial, and 1% Asian. We have 49 staff members, 32 of which are certified and 17 classified. With our annual report, we always talk about our 4-part improvement process, and I know you all have heard this many times before, but We have the College and Career Performance Index, the CCRPI, which is like our balanced scorecard. It's our report card that we get from the State Department. That's forever changing, it seems like. Our system and school improvement plan. And this year, one thing that we did with elementary school, we combined our plan. In the past, we've had a Title I plan, and we've had a school plan, and we've had several plans. So we tried to combine them together so we had one plan that really had everything included. And since our Title I is so strict and we get monies from there, that's the plan that we just put our other stuff in. So that made it easier and kind of streamlined things for us. Then, of course, we have our data rooms where we work hard, look at our data, see where our students are, see where we need to get them, and those kinds of things. And then, of course, our annual report, which we're doing tonight. CCRPI, it started, I'm going to say, this is the third year, right? The third year. And it seems that for each year, we get something, it changes, the formulas change, or there's something that changes, so it's almost like we're chasing rabbits. But we just recently got a CCRPI for our 2014 data, and every time we get our CCRPI report, it is on lagging data. So we always have to, as soon as we get our test results and our own time data that we do on the 3 times a year, we have to look at that data and see where our weaknesses are and see what we need to do, because if we don't really can't really wait on this, because if we do, we're halfway into the school year and it's kind of late to make those adjustments. But we are going to let you see these are our latest CCRPI scores.
Okay, and this is for our school. We are at 74.2. And although we still have a ways to go, we are very proud of this score. If you remember this time last year, I was standing here, we had a 62.9, and I told you that we would improve, and we did. We've come up 11.3 points. We identified our weak areas last year, and I think the teachers did an excellent job addressing what needed to be improved, and we're going to continue. So we're at 74.2, and we're really excited.
If I could, Ms. Worrell.
Yes.
Mr. Lott and I we were fortunate enough to attend the GLSSI program. I wasn't able to go to the first one, so I didn't have to trudge up the mountain.
Right.
But I was really impressed with what Nichols brought to the table in addressing. You brought your data, and you determined that fluency for all of your students was going to be a priority in helping them achieve. So it was watching you guys drill down to one idea to support. It was good to watch. So I know you're going to do good things.
That's what I was looking at, some of the reading scores and all of them have increased. That's something they were working towards.
Right, we were, and we've already, all of the items that we discussed at GLSSI, we have already implemented. Our timeline was to have those pieces in place by December, and the parents' involvement piece and educating parents on fluency, we did that, and I think we feel like based on our Google scores that we gave in August compared to how they improved in January, we compared those to last year's scores in January, and we saw an increase, so we're very pleased with the progress that we made so far.
Okay, this is Will Springs CCRPI report, and our score is lower, actually about 10 points lower than it was last year. And the main reason that is our achievement points was only 0.7 points lower, but our achievement gap points is what was much lower. So that's why we really, and when you look at our data, we had some areas that were much lower than the year before, and that's why our score decreased. I knew it was going to decrease before I ever got this, based on the test scores that we got in the spring. And my leadership team and I, we went to work and we made some adjustments, and we hope that we're going to see an increase this year. But with the new assessment, we just really don't know what we're going to see. So as I said, it's forever changing. So, but we do the best we can. We are always working hard. Our CDM data, which is the same data that Ms. Bratcher was referring to, looks great. We spent some time in January looking at that, and we charted it on those scientific poster boards like he's at a science fair, and we have every child on there with a sticky note where they are and where they need to be. And so we also have those in the classrooms, and the kids know where they are. No, they only have a number, so the kid knows what their number is. And so we're looking at it. We're trying to move our kids where they need to be. We just hope and pray when we get our results, whenever we get them, maybe next fall, we'll see some increases. As I talked about earlier, we do have school improvement plan, and I kind of alluded to that earlier. We combined all our plans into one, and it just makes it easier for all of us to track it at our schools.
The plan just includes our goals and includes the data. Some of the data you're going to look at, it has that in it as well. This is our CRCT data. You have this in front of you. And for Nichols, this is third grade, and we did increase in every area in third grade, so we were really happy. Again, we're still in the 70s in 3 of those areas, so of course that's not good enough. And like Ms. Miller said, we're not really sure what to expect for this year, so we don't know how the scores this year are it's going to be hard to do a comparison because there'll be 2 different assessments that we're looking at, but we did increase in all areas, so you can take a look at those scores there.
And as I said earlier, looking at this data, when we got it, we knew that our CCRPI was going to be somewhat lower. And I honestly thought achievement was going to be a lot lower. But when we got it, it was that gap because of the scores. Because when they look at those scores, they look at each child and each child's growth. And so when children don't grow as much as they need to, then it starts to create that gap. And so that's what really got us at West Green.
And in 4th grade, we fluctuated up and down, but we did have a great increase in reading. We were very proud of those students and the teacher. And ELA, that is a weak area across the board for us. And you can see that is affected in our writing scores. In 5th grade, you'll see that. But math, we did show an increase there as well. Science and social studies are areas that need to be improved, but again, we have looked at those areas and I think we've addressed some of the issues there as well.
Aren't these different, different groups of children?
They are.
Each year, so is it not?
It is comparing apples to oranges, the state doesn't look at it that way.
Right.
This is what really the best way to look at it is on a diagonal.
Yeah.
Because if you look at it on a diagonal, it's pretty much the same kids with the exception of a kid or 2 maybe here or there. I mean, that's the best way, if you want to look at it like that. But the state doesn't look at it that way. They look at it from year to year.
But when we set our goals for grade levels and for the school, we do look at the diagonal. We have it on a chart so we can see it both ways.
Yeah, it's confusing to the public.
It is.
It is. And, here again, our scores dropped. Last year in 4th grade, we had 2 teachers teaching 2 subjects each, one of which was brand new to 4th grade and not taught either subject before. So, whether that's what happened or not, I don't know. But our scores did drop, and we've made some changes, and we hope things are going to be better this year.
And 5th grade, we had some drops in 5th grade, but still we have some strong areas. Our math is very strong. Social studies and science dropped, but they stayed close to what they were before, but we've looked at some things that we can do there as well and address some areas. And ELA, again, we are looking at ways to improve those scores overall in our school.
And of course, with our 5th grade, and even though our scores dropped, they're still pretty good. Most of them are all in the 90s. You can't get any better than 100. So our math did drop. That could be, a student. And all of these are before our retest. So we didn't take into consideration any of our retest.
Yes, there would be some increases.
But when you look at those on the diagonal, you almost see, for the most part, there's some increases.
And it seems that when you talked about your achievement gap numbers, you kind of set the bar a little high, and so it's hard to
bridge a larger, the gap's not as large, so you're not going to get as many points for.
Well, what happened with us, we had kids who scored a certain thing in third grade, and then when they got to fourth grade, they didn't score as high. And so the progress points and the gap points were lower than our 2013 CCRPI. So that's what.
They were gaining as much that year.
And so those 2 points, that's where we lost those points in there. And then these are our school totals for each content area for each year. This is a combination of 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade because we only test 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade with state testing. And our writing is at the very bottom, and that no longer even is an existing test with Georgia milestones. Our test that we'll have this year will be 4 domains. It will combine reading and English language arts and writing, and then math, science, and social studies. So there will be 4 domains. And we don't know what to expect.
You'll be happy to know that a certain 4th grade teacher was out on my math milestones, so she's one secrecy, but
I mean, what we know, we're preparing our children for that type of, we can teach the standards, that we know. And, we know that they tell us there's going to be some constructive response, some open-ended questions, some multiple choice, and so we can just prepare our kids with that kind of assessment in the classroom, give them practice with those kinds of questions and those kind of tasks. And hopefully they'll be fine. We'll do the best we can and make them proud, baby.
That's right. This is our data room, and you can see there's a lot of handwritten, we have some fancy charts that we use, and we especially use those at the beginning of the school year, but of course we use our data all throughout the year as we conduct DIBELs and other progress monitoring assessments, but that's just some of the work that we did. We also compared ourselves to the RISA, and the chart you see on the bottom right, where we've got the posters on the board, is where we looked at that to see where we compared and to see how we need to improve in areas that we need to improve on.
And here's pictures of our data room. There's some leadership team working. This is actually in our conference room, this data, and then we have some other data in our academic coaches classroom where we really get hands-on, and that's where we do our collaborative planning and that kind of thing. That's where our trifold boards are with all our data on it.
And here's just a few highlights that we have. You can see different activities that we've had, some attendance parties. We have honors assemblies every 9 weeks. Attendance parties are monthly. There's some students playing, having a good time with the hula hoops, and we have dress-up days, and you can see where some of the teachers have participated in that. And our haunted house down at the bottom, that was especially fun because it was a way to get our community, parents, teachers, even some folks that were just friends of people affiliated with our school that wanted to come and have a good time. That was a really fun community event as well.
And of course, here's some highlights from West Green. The one picture of our flag, that's our new flagpole that Mr. Mingledorf and Mr. Arnold Parsons with Woodmen of the World helped us to get, and they donated that to us because we got a nice new parking lot in front of our school this summer, and that's where our old flagpole was. And so we moved it to the grassy area out in front of the gym, and we had a ceremony, and that was nice. So I wanted to make sure I put that picture. And most of the pictures up there are just of parent nights that we have. The one picture of the parents, that's where we had the parent cafe, and we got a lot of input from parents about what was going on at our school and to work to help with our school improvement plan and always get feedback from everybody to make sure all the stakeholders have a say. And then, of course, this year we had our first annual Jingle Bell Jog, our 5K, and Mr. Jowers participated in that. And it was a fun event.
Did you make it to the end?
He did.
He won the medal.
He He did, he won a medal. Dr. Lisa came out, he didn't get to participate, but he did come out. And it was a fun day. We had good participation, and we hope to do that, let that be a yearly event for us. But it was a lot of fun. So just lots of things going on. The picture of the little students with their cows on their head, that was National Milk Day, Schoolwide Milk Day. I think it's what it's called, World Milk Day. Thank you, Ms. Lewis. And Miss Celeste Williams, our lunchroom manager, is phenomenal. And she is always getting the children involved and doing fun things with the children. And they were actually in the GEMS magazine again this year for our district. So she also does our NAC group at West Green, a group of students who are always tasting new food items and that kind of thing, giving her their input before she puts it on the line. And they do things for the nursing homes at Christmas, and for breast cancer awareness and childhood cancer, they do little fundraisers, and they usually win an award. They had for 2 years, I think.
They won the state award last year for the best night group in the state.
So she's always doing something, and that's what that picture is from. But we like to work real hard on instruction and academic achievement, but we like to have fun too while we're doing it. So we're proud of West Green.
I have to ask, did your assistant principal put that montage together?
She did.
Okay.
Well, no, she did hers. That was a fun day. Actually, y'all should have gotten a picture from one of my bus drivers from that. Are you talking about the picture with the elf and the snowman?
Well, no, it's Leighton.
Oh, no, I did that.
You did that, okay.
I did that. That was actually a behavior reward day that we had a big blow-up slide. And PTO, we always do it on our fall festival day, and PTO pays for part of it, and I personally pay for part of the slide, and I just added that picture in there. But I thought you were talking about our costume.
Oh, no.
But anyway, that's all we have. Any questions?
Mr. Johnson?
Ms. Miller, tell the board what can we do to get parents involved like you do?
Well, one thing that we do a parent needs survey every year, just like every school does. And whatever our parents ask for as far as parent nights, that's what we plan our parent nights around. And we have found at West Green, if we have parents involved with their children, then they'll come. We don't always have a performance from the children, but like on our math carnival night, parents are actually doing something with their children. And we have it in the gym, and we have tables set up, and they do all kinds of math, hands-on things with their children. And it's not just our children, it's the community children, from toddlers to middle school children come. They always want to come back, and then we do the same thing for science. We do the same thing for reading. We had a real fun night this year. We always do reading, well, not always, we've done it a couple different times, reading under the stars, and this year the weather was awful, so we read in the gym. And we turned the lights out in the gym. If you've never been in West Green Gym, during the daytime with the lights out, you can't see. But at nighttime with the lights out, because there's a few cracks and holes in the wall that the light comes in, so you have a little bit of light during the day, but at nighttime, you honestly cannot see your hands in front of your face. It's very, very, very dark. I think it's darker in there than it is outside. So we turn the lights out, and we have flashlights, and so we read in the gym, and we had glow in the dark. I had lots of teachers with small children, and they brought those glow pants that flash the stars. So that's what we had on the ceiling, so we improvised. But we just really do what they ask for. We try to provide what they ask for, and we always have them involved, and we feed them. We feed them a lot. Our PTO provides the food several times during the year when we have parent nights. And sometimes we feed them pizza, sometimes we feed them hot dogs, just different things. Chili. I have a parent that owns a restaurant, and we had chili one night. So ice cream. Sometimes we just have popcorn. It depends on what we're having. We try to have food according to the night that we're having.
My question to you, Ms. Bradley. You say your enrollment was down. Could you tell us, do they still come from Bacon County into Coffee County, pick up students and take them back?
No.
They don't do that no more?
No, no more, no.
Dr. Murphy?
Are we losing any to Bacon County?
In the elementary level, I mean, if they are, I mean, they're moving. The ones that have withdrawn and went over there that have been in Nichols and left were moved over there, you know.
I want to get this straight now. Is the drugstore in Nichols, Georgia part of Coffee County?
Yes.
This one?
The drugstore, is it?
Yes.
Right by the flash food?
Yeah.
I want to advise you, Dr. Lees.
Yes, sir.
Get up some morning. You just go sit there and you'll see what I'm talking about. They coming into all kind of getting our children's and getting the FTE call for it.
A bus?
They've been doing it. I guarantee you.
No.
When I was walking real good, I used to ride. I be all over the place. I see stuff. I don't say nothing, but I see stuff.
I mean, if they're coming before I
They
get
do?
to work, so
I'll
it's got to
check
be
it out.
before
I'll
7 o'clock.
Just check it
Get
out.
over there on the county line and park and see
Well,
what
I
I
go
can see.
through, I live in Nichols,
I know you
Mr.
do.
Johnson, and I go through every morning about 6:30. And I'm not,
Bus is gonna run, man.
I'm not gonna take a bus, and sometimes I go a bit early, and I'm not, now, years ago, several years ago, yes, I have seen a bus before, but I've not seen a bus, I've not seen a bus in several years.
There's not a
there.
bus that I'm aware
Okay.
of. I mean, if it
Put
is,
Chris on
it's-
that.
I can get Chris on it.
Just check it
It
out.
is just sliding in there pretty.
I'd like to
incognito.
say thank y'all for what you
Thank
do.
y'all.
I get out, I've been out to both of y'all's schools and just had great experiences. I know when Mr. Parsons had the flag raising ceremony earlier this year, went out for that, and it was fantastic. And every time I go out there, y'all are just doing good things with children. The same thing in Nichols, it's a wholesome environment. Both schools are just fantastic, great cultures for students, and great place for children. So thank y'all for what you do.
And enjoy being at your schools. I think there's a closeness that you can develop when you have the size schools you have, and it's a shame that all of our schools can't be that size where you can know everybody, you know the community, you know the parents, and that's how you get them in, Mr. Johnson. Numbers, you become numbers.
I still think it started at the kitchen table.
You're right, bring food.
Thank you.
All right, thank y'all. Thank you. All right, next on the agenda, we have spent time recently reviewing our strategic plan. Last week, we had the directors who are responsible for each strategic goal area meet here at the board office, and over several hours of reviewing where we were at with each goal area, we realized that this information needed to be reported out to the board. We're not going to be able to go in depth with it tonight. The plan was just to give you a very brief overview and then come back either at a work session or possibly retreat and give you an in-depth view of what's been going on in each goal area. So Dr. Perry's here to give that brief overview.
Good evening, Madam Chairman, Dr. Lee's board, and Mr. Jones, welcome back.
Thank you.
I don't have to tell you what great things are going on in this county. You've seen them tonight. So I'm going to touch very briefly on some of the highlights for each of the goal areas that we have. I want to remind you that we do have 9 strategic goals. And even though I'm going to just hit the highlights, you do have in your packet and on your iPad an extensive list of initiatives that we have going on under every goal area, where we are in that goal area. The first goal area is children entering school ready to learn. And the biggest initiative we have in that area is a Family Community Connections Collaborative that meets monthly. This includes hospital, health, sheriff's office, agency on aging, counselors, Babies Can't Wait. We've brought in all the groups that work with these early learners and begin
developing some relationships with them, and they've even going to have their first activity, and this is called Cribs to Crayons, and I don't know if Dana wants to say anything about it, but this is an opportunity. You were asking about what we do for parents. This is a free parent meeting at the public library where they're going to give them information on how they can help their child succeed in school. The second initiative, a curriculum that is broad, challenging, relevant, and real for students. We've done a lot of work in this area, and you know, with all the literacy initiative, Reading 180, System 44, I Read, we've got the Boys and Girls Club up and running. There are 110 students being served in the Boys and Girls Club with 17 employees. We've expanded career awareness, exploration, and preparedness. We are talking about what are you going to do when you graduate, college, career, and life at an early age. We're making them aware of those careers, looking at different careers, and getting them prepared. And it just made my heart swell to see those kids up here tonight talking about that. Because a couple of years ago, they wouldn't have been talking about college. They wouldn't have been, you know, we're planting that seed early on, and I think it's making a difference with our students. I'm proud of the partnerships that we've had. Probably the biggest thing that we had happen in Goal 2 is the establishment of the Career Academy. 225 students in the Career Academy. Another thing that we talked about early on, and the community really put input into elementary music and art. Well, that's happening in almost every one of our elementary schools in some fashion or form. So we're proud of that. Goal 3, instructional practices that increase student motivation, engagement, and success. Our biggest thing here is we want to connect what our teachers learn to student learning. So we're giving them those strategies, helping them with TEKS, which is Teacher Keys Effectiveness, and Leader Keys Effectiveness, and teaching them how to implement those high-impact strategies to help our students succeed. We're expanding blended learning, a lot of online learning, learning at your own pace. Goal 4, a balanced assessment. You can see by the two schools that presented tonight, their data rooms. If you go into any school in our system, they have robust data rooms. They know where those kids are and where they need to go. They know individually who is here and where do we need to take them. We're more data-driven than we've ever been. It gives us a laser focus on what our students need to learn and how to succeed. Goal number 5, high school graduates who are ready for college, career, and life itself. A big initiative that we had and that got recognized the other night, most of you saw at the chamber meeting, was our STEM initiative in the summer. And that's going to expand even more. The more they hear about it and the opportunities that come available, the more people want to get involved. And it goes back to where we talk about we are Coffee. It's not just the Coffee County school system. It's our students, our parents, our businesses. We're all working together to build this community. And I think this is a great program that helps do that. We're raising the employees of the future for the businesses in Douglas and Coffee County. Goal 6, organizational and governance structures that support student learning. I think that you could see how far we've come with that from the other night when we had the combined Board of Education and School Governance team meeting. We had over 75 people there talking about schools and student success and student achievement. And we came a long way in a year and a half. And when we get called all the time about should our system go charter or should they do this? And most of those systems are more scared of school governance teams than any other concern that I hear. And I say that's probably one of the greatest things that we gained from that, was having those stakeholders come in and give us input on their schools, their students, and it just works. So it did my heart good to see that as well. And even though each representative was representing a school, we do have collective responsibility in this system for every student that we serve. And I think that came out the other night. Goal 7, a highly reliable and accountable school system that guarantees qualified and effective teachers, leaders, and support staff through the school system. Mrs. Clayton does a wonderful job helping us to find and support those new teachers. But like you all said, it's getting harder and harder to find those because folks are not going into education like they've done in the past. So we need everybody's help. If you know somebody that's interested in teaching and that we can tap and we can keep those students that grow up and become teachers in our system, let's encourage them. Let's show them that it's a great opportunity to be in the Coffee County school system. Another program that I'm very proud of is when we do have new teachers to Coffee County, we do partner them with a mentor that stays with them all year and longer if necessary. So that's a really good program. Goal 8, increase parental engagement and satisfaction and improve community relations. And like I've said in the past, we're all about engaging the community, our parents, our staff, and our students in creating those partnerships that are crucial to the success of our schools and our students. And our last goal is goal 9, adequate resources expended effectively and efficiently to maximize student learning. As you know, even through these huge budget cuts that we've had, we've continued to sort out and secure grants to help fund some of these initiatives. We've been very proud of what we've been able to bring into the Coffee County school system at a time when we needed it, and some of those were listed. I just want to remind you that when we talk about district goals, those go down to the school, to the grade level, to the classroom, and actually help student achievement throughout the system. And lastly, all this is based on the 5 SAC standards. We continue to work with best practices and high impact strategies. I know that was quick and that was a lot of information, and like I said, we have a very extensive list. Dr. Lee's let you know that we came together and brainstormed of all the great things that we have going on, so I encourage you to look at that list. If you have any questions about that, please let us know. And if you see something that we didn't include, we would like to include it.
Thank you, Dr. Perrin, and I wish we had more time, and I know you had to kind of move through it quickly, but we will present this in much more depth moving forward, and I think you'll be impressed when you see some of the numbers. I know we looked at dual enrollment numbers the other day when we were working on this, and our numbers in dual enrollment at the high school, I want to say we've got right at about, and I'm make sure I get these numbers right, but we've got around 230 students who are dually enrolled in Coffee County who are going to Wiregrass, who are dually enrolled at Wiregrass Technical College, and then we've got about, I want to say 130 Coffee High School students who are dually enrolled with South Georgia State College. So we've got about 360 students right now who are dually enrolled with either South Georgia State College or Wiregrass Technical College. And that's just one small thing, but some of the initiatives that are going on, we'll go deeper at later meetings. But I appreciate you supporting this strategic plan, and we're in year 3 of it. It's a 5-year plan, so it's time for us to review where we're at with our strategic plan, and that's the point of this tonight, was to review briefly where we're at with the strategic plan. Then we're going to go back and have this same review with our principals. If you turn in this booklet to page, at the very end, you will see on page 24, the strategic planning members. Our plan is to review where we're at with the strategic planning members on page 24. A few of the names have changed with people who've left the system or whatnot, but that's the basic strategic planning team. And we're going to review with them what we've done, and then we're going to begin looking at the plan and see if there's some things we need to add, if there's things we need to amend, and then we will report back to you areas that we add to or amend or change, and the progress in each area. And then we'll ultimately have a meeting with our Community Advisory Committee. If you turn to page 25, you'll see our Community Advisory Committee, and we will meet with that group and report out what we've done with our strategic plan and then the steps that we will take next to continue on. And it's kind of neat to see that on page 25, you see where at the time when we developed this plan, Miss Judy Worrell was a Community Advisory Committee member, and now she's Board of Education Chair. So that's pretty neat. But this is our plan, and we're going to continue to work the plan.
And I do want to point out one thing. I gave you kind of an overview of the system, but any school that you talk to, their improvement plan hits on every one of these. So this plan is cascaded down into every school, and this is the mission and vision and the work of everybody in our school system.
If I could, real quickly, I was on a committee that presented at the Georgia School Board Association in December, 2 superintendents of charter systems and myself, and I took a stack of these. I did too many sessions, and I had to hold back these from the board members that wanted to see what we were doing in Coffee County. So thank you for what has been accomplished the last few years. So look forward to the next piece of paper that we come up with soon.
All right, thank you. The next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. On the consent agenda, these items have been reviewed by the board at the work session immediately prior to this meeting. It is the recommendation of the superintendent that the board approve the consent agenda as presented. We have the minutes from last month's board meeting. Those minutes were reviewed in the work session previously. We have the monthly financial report that the board has reviewed. And for the month of December, the month ended with a fund balance for the school system of $9,864,002. And I would like to add that total for the end of month of December for 14 was within $1,000 of the same total of the year prior, December of 13. So our budget so far this year is tracking very close to where we were tracking at this time last year. And if you remember this time at the end of last fiscal year, we finished in the black. So we did feel like this was a positive budget report. The next item on the agenda, the consent agenda, is the monthly comparison report, the monthly financial comparison report, and that's the one that shows how we compared to last year. The other is the monthly financial report for SPLOS, the financial report detail that details the fund balances and the funds expenditures and revenues in each area, and that was discussed in the work session previous to this meeting. We also have out-of-state travel requests. We have 3 trips that are out of state this month. We have a group from Westside Elementary School, approximately 74 students, who are going to Jacksonville on a science trip, and the students will understand that stars have different planets, patterns, as well as the sun and moon, and they're going to be going to Jacksonville to study the stars and the planets. And then Westside also has a group of 5th graders, approximately 85, who are going to Fernandina. They're going to be going to Fort Clinch and visiting the fort there and learning about the effects of destructive forces in the Civil War. And then we have a group of Jerry OTC who will be going to Middleburg, Florida, and they'll be competing in the Brain Brawl. So we're really excited about that group going. There's approximately 6 of them who will be competing in the Brain Brawl out of state. We also have on the consent agenda our 2015 Georgia School Board Association Legislative Liaison. That will be Mr. Brian Preston, who will be corresponding with the legislative group from representing Coffee County, as well as at the state level, any other decision makers and policy makers that need to be corresponded with. Service Solutions contract with the 21st Century Learning Center. We have presented the board with a contract that will allow those custodial services to be implemented there at the 21st Century Learning Center, or the Boys and Girls Club as it's more commonly known. And this is something that we just needed to firm up formally with a contract. We also have a contract that was discussed in the work session with the board for the Telemon Group. They will be renting 2 classrooms on the old high school campus where we currently have some Head Start classrooms located also. They'll be renting 2 classrooms from the Board of Education, and Telemon Group will be paying the same amount in rent that the Head Start group that rents classrooms there from us pays. So this is a contractual agreement between the board and Telemon to rent 2 classrooms. And Telemon is a group that works with migrant education and migrant students in this area of the state. And these will be Head Start age students. So these will be very young children who will be attending this program through Telemon. E-rate bid, we have federally funded program known as it's not e-board, E-rate, and I was thinking e-board, but we've got the E-rate program that funds 90% of the cost of this equipment that will be purchased, and the low bid was the A3 group out of Atlanta, Georgia, who will be providing this equipment for wireless networking throughout our district. And the total for the bid was $238,460, of which the school district will pay about $23,000, $24,000, because E-rate will pick up the other 90%. It's a federal program that we get reimbursed with that. And that is wireless for our buildings and our schools. The board has also approved to be on the consent agenda a new policy that deals with charter schools, descriptor code IBB. This policy is required by state law for us to have, and this policy would set forth a process for which if someone was to petition the board to begin a charter school, we will have a policy in place to deal with such a request. Also, that will be placed on the table to sit for 30 days, just like IBB. IBB will be up for public review for the next 30 days. We'll have policy EEE, which is a wellness policy. We are amending our current policy EEE, and this policy will streamline our current policy and make it more manageable at the school level and at the district level. So this is an amendment of wellness policy EEE. That will sit on the table or will be open for public review for the next 30 days. And then our final policy that the board has approved to place up for public review to sit for 30 days is policy JCDAE, which deals with weapons within the school district. Last year, the state legislature approved a bill and the governor signed the bill into law that gives the authority for school districts to give the administration the authority to handle weapons cases at the schools administratively. So this is a policy that will sit on the table for the next 30 days for public review. And this just puts the school district more in line with what the current law is regarding weapons policies for schools. And that is the consent agenda. Yes, sir.
You skip E.
Skip D.
Did I skip something?
Skip D.
All right. All right, I was pulling those. All right, great, thank you.
Athletic pass.
Yes. Athletic pass. We had a presentation from the athletic director from Coffee High School, Randy Garrett. Coach Randy Garrett presented to the board his findings of a study that he conducted of what was going on in some other systems in which they were allowing citizens who are age 65 or older to enter athletic sporting events, sponsored by the high school or any of the schools in the district. This will allow 65 and older citizens to enter those competitions for free. So this will be free entry to athletic competitions sponsored by the school district for free for those age 65 and older. We did want to point out, though, that if you make the Georgia High School Association playoffs, then they govern those playoff games, and therefore admission would be required, and that'll be discussed with the individuals who receive the benefit, the 65 and olders at that time. But this will be free entry to all athletic events within the district for those age 65 and older.
And ID is required.
Yes, sir. There will be a picture ID required, an official picture ID, driver's license, something of that nature. So, all right, and
If, I don't know where it falls on the lines of us being allowed to issue identification, but if that person can't procure identification but can show that they're of that age, is that something that we could have specifically for them? They could use it for other methods, but would that be a possibility?
I don't have a problem with it.
I don't know how many.
well, the idea was to keep it streamlined, and I guess if there is a case like that, yes, I'm certain we could work with them, or we could work something out. But the idea was that kind of keeps it out of the school district have to issue ID. That was kind of the intent, to get away.
Or if the question comes up, can we find an agency that would fill that need, I guess?
Somewhere to get an ID.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, all sport events.
Yes.
Yes.
So,
all right.
Good. A second for the consent agenda.
Okay.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. All those against?
All right, thank you. And at this time, I would ask the board for an executive session to discuss or deliberate upon the appointment, employment, compensation, hire, and disciplinary action or dismissal or periodic evaluation or rating of a public officer or employee, and to review or to consider personnel issues and the hiring of employees. And that's the executive session.
So
second.
All those, any discussion? All those in favor?
We need a motion to exit executive session.
Please.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Madam Chair, I would ask the board to approve the personnel as presented.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. As far as comments for tonight, I'd just like to welcome Mr. Jowers on the Board of Education, and good to have you on the board, and welcome back. Yes, sir. And look forward to working with you, and
good to be back.
Yes, sir. It's good to have you. And Ms. Worrell, congratulations on your first meeting as board chairwoman, and Mr. Lott, vice chair. So looking forward to a great year. This is the first meeting of 2015, and just looking forward to the future. And this is going to be a great year for Coffee County and the Coffee County school system. Thank you all.
Meeting's adjourned.